All right, hey everybody. So it is finally time to start doing fall stuff. I am really excited. Now it's still like 100 degrees here in Houston. We're just shy of 100 degrees here in Houston, but it's time to start prepping for fall. So here we are, it's the middle of August, and you can't really start prepping, you can't start planting your crops or your seeds or your starts in the ground outside because it's still too hot for fall planting. Now I'll give you an example. Okay, so I want to plant these radishes. Never had radishes. I'm not sure I'm going to like them, but hey, they look pretty, right? I think they look pretty. And why not? Try something new. Well, on the back of the packet, anything you get from Baker Creek has a ton of information on the back of the packet. Everything you get from Seeds for Generations has all the information on the front of the packet. Either way, you're going to learn everything you need to know about that seed. This seed needs an ideal temp of 50 to 75 degrees. So I can't plant these yet, but these are going in the ground. So the ideal temp for these is 50 to 75 degrees. Now that's air temperature. So you need the soil to be in that same range or the seeds will not wake up and start to germinate. So I have to wait on these, but these will be going in the ground. Same with these these goofy carrots. I mean, look how small those things look. They need a temperature of 50 to 75 degrees. So these two will be planted at the same time, which will be down the road. But what I am going to do is start the seeds for plants that I want to put right into the ground. So for the spring and the summer plants, really mainly the spring plants. No, because I did summer also. I got everything from Baker Creek and MIGardener. Now, about a month and a half ago, another YouTuber that I watch, Black Gumbo Southern Gardening, he talked about this company. So, to give him a little support, I went ahead and ordered some seeds from this company. And like I said, look, all the information to this seed, to this plant is on the front. And it has everything you need. So you really can't go wrong. Just follow the instructions. Now for these salt and pepper cucumbers right here, they're like a white cucumber. I'm kind of excited to grow these. The soil needs to be between 70 and 95 degrees. So right now is perfect timing. It's perfect to start your starts. And what do I mean by the starts? Your seed trays. So I'm going to start tonight seeds for this. And for this squash, and for these little cherry peppers. I think that'll be fun to grow, to try. They need a soil temp of 75 to 85, so I'm gonna plant them tonight, get them on the heat mat under the grow lights, and in about 6 weeks or so, when it starts to slowly start to cool off outside, I'm gonna get them either in a container or in the ground. But the peppers, I will probably put in a container since they are perennials and you can overwinter them and keep them growing. Now, if you don't know what overwinter means, that'll come later, closer to winter. But there's a lot of videos on it, and I'll try to do one, but I don't know why I'd do one when, say, Brian from Next Level Gardening has like 2 of them on how to overwinter crops. So I'm brand new to this. I don't need to try to act like I know everything. I don't. So I already showed you those seeds. I'm also going to do a lot of lettuces. So a Butter King, a tennis ball. Look at that little tennis ball lettuce. Literally the size of a tennis ball. That's cool. Can't plant these yet though, they're not ready. It's still too hot. Some cabbage for fall cooking. A real pretty lettuce. I don't know how to say that, but it looks really cool. And then some kales and a purple cabbage. And I'm also gonna do some tomatillos. I wanna try to start getting into making salsa. I don't know anything about tomatillos. I've got a purple one, another kind of purple one, a regular green, and then like a ground cherry. So, yeah. Also gonna do some different beans, some dragon tongue, and some rattlesnake. Now I know that name might freak some people out, but it's just how the pod looks. It apparently looks like a rattlesnake, so I don't know. Give it a shot. And then I might try this purple, it almost looks like a blue eggplant. If y'all saw the eggplant video, you know the Black Beauty is not one I'm probably going to grow again. That thing was terrible. How do you prep for how do you start your seeds? It's really simple. Okay, so like in spring, this is the seed starting mix that I use. I used it all through spring and summer. This stuff is great. Now I want to start making my own seed starting mix, and I know how to do it. I just need to build something for it, so that'll be probably literally the next video. I've been putting that off because it's so hot and I just don't want to be outside cutting stuff. I don't want to do it. So, but I will be making my own seed starting mix starting after I go through this stuff. But this stuff is really good. I'm not endorsed by them in any way, shape, or form, but I'm endorsing them. This is great stuff. So get your seed trays, whether you use these big ones or you use the little ones that are smaller, it doesn't matter. Just get a seed tray. Get your seed starting trays. Now with this stuff, you always want to moisten the soil. I learned this earlier in spring and last winter when I was starting the stuff. Moisten the soil first before you plant. It just makes it easier, and then whenever you do water it, it just helps surround the seed, I guess is the best way to say it. So get your trays, make sure everything's already moistened, and then you're just gonna plant them. So what I'm gonna do with these trays, because these are bigger, these are 3x3s, where the other ones you do one seed per little tiny tray. This one, I'm going to do 3 seeds per cup. I guess that's a cup, I don't know. But I'm gonna do 3 seeds per cup. Main reason for that is I've only got 2 heating pads, and I'm going to put these on the heating pads under the grow lights while I'm getting the seeds to grow. Now I'm not gonna put them outside because again, it's too hot. Say for these cherry, what are these called? These cherry peppers here, the temperature needs to be 75 to 85. Well, today was 98. So what does that mean? It means the seeds are not going, it's too hot outside. So the seeds will not wake up if it's outside. But in my garage, the temperature today was 82 when it was 98 outside. So I'm gonna put everything in the garage. Now I actually might not put them on the heat mat now that I'm thinking about it, but I will have the grow lights on for sure. And another little trick that I learned from Luke at MIGardener earlier in the spring was when you're doing your seeds inside, make sure you have a little fan blowing across the top. Yes, that will help, that will dry out the top of your soil, which you would think would be not beneficial, but it actually is because it helps keep away gnats, because gnats will start growing, will start living in the top of the soil. But the biggest, and then your seeds can get the water from underneath in your water catchment thing down here in your tray, in your water tray. But the biggest thing the fan does, as far as beneficial, is when you're growing inside, there's no wind. Well, if you grow outside, there's wind. So this is what I totally screwed up in spring, and I had these long plants growing tall and flopping over because they weren't strong. They were just growing straight up. Well, if you have a fan blowing, just a light, on a number 1, just blowing lightly across the top, as your starts are growing, they're strengthening that stem and getting strong because the wind is constantly making them get stronger. So I have a little tiny fan out there, just enough to make the plants move and strengthen their stalk. So when you stick them outside, they don't flop over and die like I had pretty much all my squashes do this year or in the spring. So in the fall, hopefully, since I am doing 3 different squashes right here, hopefully that will help curb that from happening. So yeah, that's it. Okay, so what I just realized is I started doing this without being prepared. So one thing I needed to say was you need to get some sort of a little tag. I learned this in summer when I thought I was growing one crop and I didn't label it, totally on me, and I was growing something completely different. And I wasn't upset about it, but at the same time, if you're expecting one thing and you get something else, so get some tags. Real simple. Put the obviously label it the correct way, but another thing, put the date that you planted the seeds, because then you can look at it. Most of all the packets say how long it takes to germinate, how long it take to harvest, and then you can kind of plan on, okay, at this date I should have this plant to harvest. And then that also helps you with stagger planting, which is just simply if you want a whole bunch of cucumbers, don't plant them all at the same time. Stagger them a few weeks. That way you've always got a constant harvest of whatever vegetable or fruit that you're growing. So I'm going to bring the camera. I don't need to show you all this. It's real simple. Poke some holes. Like I said, I'm doing 3 seeds per cup. Poke the holes, plant the seeds, cover them up. You're done. Get them under a grow light, get them in front of the fan, and go from there. Pretty simple. So yeah. All right, everybody. So that's it. Biggest thing to do with the fall that I understand. Remember, I'm brand new to gardening. This is my first full year of gardening. I do not have 20 or 30 years experience. And even with the people that do have 20 and 30 years experience, they're always learning also. So you're never too old to learn something new. Just let's be real. And that doesn't just apply to gardening. So make sure you get crops for the fall that are going to be good in the fall. That's why I'm doing a lot of lettuces. That's not even all the carrots. That's just going to be the first time I'm growing these carrots. But I'm doing a lot of cool weather crops. A lot of lettuces, a lot of kales, a lot of cabbages. I'm going to grow one type of tomato. I don't know where it is. Yeah, it's over there, I think. But I'm going to do one type of tomato, which I'm actually going to plant and start those seeds tonight. Should be ready before the first frost date. Now, in the spring, you're worried about the last frost date. For fall, you're worried about the first frost date. So for this zone that I'm in here in the northern Houston area, November 23rd is the projected first frost date. So when you're planting your fall crops, you want to make certain that you're planting crops that can be ready to harvest before your first frost date if those plants are affected by the frost. Now, some plants aren't affected by the frost. So as always, everyone, thank you all for your support. I really do appreciate it. Everyone who's watching the videos, sharing the videos, liking the videos, subscribing to the channel. Again, I really do appreciate it. I have fun doing this. I enjoy doing this. And I'm going to continue doing it. And I'm going to show you all my failures and all my successes and some bloopers along the way. If I think they're funny and worth watching, why not? Let's keep it real, right? So as always, hey, if y'all enjoyed this video, please like it, please subscribe to the channel, please share the video. Check me out on Facebook and Instagram, Downhill Backyard Gardening. And as always, shine bright and harvest hard. Bye. I like this because it has, yeah, that's what it has. It has me breaking everything. It has that water catch right there. So put these back in here. So I'm jacking it all up. There we go. Okay. Just getting dirt flipping everywhere. All right, come on, Astros. Yes, they just tied the game. Okay. Game's on. All right. All right. Fall, baby, yeah. All right, here we go. Here we go. I am. Boy, am I ready for fall, son. All right. All right, hey.